Okay. So from that discussion, then we're asking ourselves, how do we engage and how do we drive that conversation to make it accessible to more young people and to give us a platform? And if we're going to contribute to the edification of Africa and to the growth of the continent, then we need competent, empowered, and meaningfully engaged professionals. There's no competency unless it's through training. But at the same time, we understand that access to training opportunities to a greater extent would be determined by, one, resourcing needs that you might be able to access to be able to further your education. And beyond the education, then the question is, how do you engage with emerging and current dynamics and trends in the market where you're working? And that is very important for us as professionals to be able to achieve those successes. So that is why the key is when we're having these opportunities, now there's a window of actually almost every international university, the developed world, have scholarships, sponsorships, and all that. The recruitment phase is this period from September to January, February next year. And they are going in different phases. So you'd find like, for example, we have the Mastercard Foundation Scholars Program, for which the window is within the end of October, which started early this week, to the 7th of December. There are other scholarship opportunities. You hear of Chevening scholarships. That is currently ongoing, ending around 10th or 12th of November. Then we have the Commonwealth scholarships. That is basically on the UK. We had the Knight Hennessy scholarship from the US Stanford University. The window actually closed early this month, around 12th of October. So these opportunities, when they're coming, how do we get them accessible to people? And that is important. And I'm hoping as we get into the conversations today with Pauline, we'll be able to learn, we'll be able to explore possibilities, and most importantly, ask ourselves, where is our card and what is our deck, and also how do we get to maneuver the opportunities? So before I get to that and actually introduce you, Pauline, I just want to give you guys an opportunity to know who we are, what we do as an organization. So this session is hosted today by Agriculture, Health, and Social Innovation. I'm sharing my screen. Let me know when you guys can see it.
We can see it.
Yeah, we can see it.
Perfect, thank you. So Agriculture, Health, and Social Innovation is a social enterprise, and we were founded in 2017. We started off when we were still in the university. And the core of our work was to ask ourselves, how do we work with young healthcare professionals, youth leaders, and youth-led organizations in their local communities with a focus on improving access to healthcare services and promoting human capital development. For us to achieve our aspirations of healthy and prosperous communities, we need people to be at their best, to be at optimum functionality and performance. That requires them to be healthy, but for them to be healthy, they need to be knowledgeable. What do I need to eat? Where am I operating? What healthcare services do I need? Where can I access those healthcare services? But also beyond that, being empowered means you're able to afford your healthcare bills when you fall ill. You're able to support your families and your communities from a healthcare needs because you have the means and you're capable to do that. So that was critical for us. So in core of the work we do is how do we engage with young healthcare professionals, youth leaders, and youth-led organizations? We have training opportunities and training programs which are critical. So we build capability. And for this session, it's part of what we indicated as the Youth Voices Network, which is a network of youth leaders, young healthcare professionals, and youth-led organizations. Mostly we have youth leaders in the network. We do trainings, we have bi-weekly sessions, like this one where we talk about, we train ourselves and learn from each other. Then after that, we ask ourselves, what can we do? Beyond training, can you put the training into practice? What do we do? Then we get to run projects and programs. And currently we are planning to have our Youth Voices Summit, which is coming up in November from 15th to 17th in Nairobi, Kenya. Would really encourage you to join us and be part of the engagements. And I'll share the link to the website and also registration link for those who are interested. So that is one of the things. But beyond learning and doing the work, how do we ensure that it's sustainable? Because sustainability is key. Do we drive it into policies? How do we drive that? That is through the conferencing that we disseminate those findings to seed new possibilities among people, but also to engage in policy platforms where we can make this a reality. And that is critical for us as an organization so that it becomes sustainable. This is the journey we've walked. If you look at our website, you'll be able to see most of that. So we have the health advocacy pillar focusing on mental health, sexual reproductive health and rights, neglected tropical diseases, non-communicable diseases, and social accountability for health. Then another health system strengthening pillar, we have pharmaceutical care. Most of us are pharmacists in background. Then looking at digital health and innovation in the business model for health outcomes. The network, I've already talked about it, training, mentorship, experiential work through doing the job, and networking opportunities and thought leadership, then promoting an innovative and actually an ideation ecosystem where we all can come up with new ideas and drive that focus. And that is what we do, and that is what we are as an organization. But as much as that is the case, what session we are getting into today gives us a platform to see what are the possibilities. How do we make this information accessible to you? And I'm glad that Pauline honored our invite and is here with us and is going to take us through the journey to be able to learn, be able to know what possibilities and how we can walk that journey. And at this point, I'll hand it over to you, Pauline, to carry on with the session and to help us learn together and see what lies ahead of us. Over to you.
Okay, thank you so much. I think we could go straight to the slides of Mastercard Foundation.
Yeah. So I'll be doing that. And as I do that, just by introduction, Pauline Oko is actually a journalist by training. She's a Mastercard scholar with studying at Edinburgh University, the University of Edinburgh, yes, in Scotland, UK, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yes. And she's one of the fellow scholars who have got this scholarship. And it's good to learn from somebody who has walked the journey, who is going through the path so that you also can know how did she make it? How can you also make it? And we learn from each other and get it better. So with that, I think the slide is up.
Okay, thank you so much. So, okay, in the beginning, for those who have just joined, I started with a question, how bad, or in the scale of 0 to 1 or 0 to 10, what will you rate your urge to study abroad or as to be an international student or to further your studies? And most of you said 10, some 100, some said 8 or 7. So clearly it's above 6, above 6. So that means like we already have the intention and interest, which is good. But now after having the interest, there's also that part where you take initiative as a person to just do your background checks and just your research. So that is how I started myself. Like, yeah, I had started looking for opportunities abroad, but okay, thank you, Jessica. I had not thought of studying abroad. So like I was just hustling the way normal Kenyans or Africans do. You try all means, you've graduated, but definitely your if you look at the way your livelihood versus what you studied versus the outcome or your let's just say the rewards were not really fulfilling for me. Fortunately enough, I got a job with Mastercard Foundation, but I would like to mention that previously I was part of a mentorship program. It was called Global Give Back Circle. So the reason why I'm mentioning this is because apart from academics, there are those organizations which want to mentor people, young people. You might think, what's the need for me to join these organizations? The need is not like you might not need financial help, but you see, being part of a family, being part of a group that is mentoring you, for example, like Rai Culture, like what David, the organization that David has, is very important because it connects you to like opportunities, and you are sort of like the way we are connected to our previous schools, our high schools, our alumni, maybe at University of Nairobi. Right now, it will be very easy for you to associate with anything from University of Nairobi because you were once part of them. So this mentorship culture that we used to have also meant that mentorship through academic culture. And you see, for example, from my background, I'm the first person to have even studied an undergraduate degree. So that means if I'm relying alone on my family to lead me academically, my parents or my sisters cannot show me the way because they've not been there. But now through the mentorship programs, I was able to meet other women who've made it in life, the women who've succeeded academically, the women who are really doing brilliant things in the society, and that alone was motivation for me. I didn't know how I would make it, but I knew if these women through the mentorship program are in this at this stage of life, that means we too we can do it. So after I got the job with Mastercard Foundation, we kept wondering what will be the next thing after our contract ended. Our contract was ending last year, this year, May 2023. our mentor kept telling us to look for scholarships, and she kept mentioning Mastercard Foundation scholarships. Yeah, she kept saying that even if it's not a job, you could further your studies. And if you look at the opportunities that like the age limit is usually 35. But what happens to us as Africans after you get your undergraduate degree and you get your first job, you slide into the comfort zone. You're like maybe you're out of the hostels and now you're in a bed sitter, and then you go to the your one bedroom, and lucky enough maybe you get an insurance which pays for your car, for your health. So you feel like you're into a comfort zone that I don't want to study anymore. I'm okay with this first graduate degree. I'm okay with my undergraduate degree. Furthermore, I can eat, I can pay my rent. But when you look at it long term, the taxes and everything, let's just say the money or the income that I was earning was not enough to sustain me for like 10 or 20 years to come. That's just a reality. Like with one degree, it's the papers quickly fade out and people quickly forget that you're even a graduate. For example, if you walk into a room, no one will ask you, "Hey, at what level of studies did you reach?" You see, no one will keep asking you about your first degree. So I knew this is not just enough, and I had to look for more. So that's how I started my journey of looking for scholarships. What I did and what I would encourage all of us to do is you subscribe to all these like channels and keep yourself connected to information. I kept checking online, googling online the scholarships for Africans. Remember, we are Africans, and I will say we are East Africans. So I kept and I went specifically straight to scholarships for Africans, scholarships for young women, or scholarships for someone. For example, if you're in the field of medicine, you will go and Google like scholarships for Black or Africans in medicine, and then that search will narrow you down. It will give you like specific options other than just looking for scholarships. You see, we have Chevening scholarships, we have Commonwealth scholarships. If you put yourself in that whole bracket, it makes it difficult for you to just get that. It's like if you dip your net in a big ocean, it's very difficult for you to know the specific opportunity that you're looking for. But once you look and research, and now you narrow down your research, it's like a homework, by the way. It reached a point where I used to note down all the universities and all the deadlines and when am I supposed to apply. Like right now, this is the open period from September up to probably January. That's when the scholarships are open. After you've known the dates, the second thing you're supposed to know is which scholarships am I looking towards. If you're looking for Mastercard Foundation, yes, Mastercard Foundation has universities in Africa, it has universities in UK and Canada and USA. Which ones do I want to go? If I started looking for USA and I didn't get one. I got Arizona State, but I couldn't manage the deadlines and everything. Another thing is once you've already known the countries you're interested in, you could write a list. Like I've just said, it's like a homework. You every day you keep researching. So you know, like for example, right now you would like to come to Edinburgh University, and the application is open. The application is open from 23rd October. That was a previous day. So when is the application closing? What are the criteria that I need to have met for me to start embarking on this journey? You don't just wake up one day and say, hey, today I want to apply for a scholarship. And that is why most of us end up discouraging each other. Like, hey, I've ever applied for this scholarship, but I didn't get. Some of us do not get because we do not do enough research. And surprisingly enough, this was the first scholarship I attempted, and I did so much research for it. I did my homework. Up to the time that I was applying, it wasn't difficult for me to actually tell like the next process and the next stage. And I got it, and it was my first one because I did like research and homework. But if you don't do research and homework and background checks, it ends up like you're just enjoying the ride of applying and the interviews, and then the more you keep on applying and you don't get, of course, we are human beings, you will feel discouraged. And that I will not like us to get to that point of despair and discouragement, like, hey, I've been applying for this and I'm not getting. No, I would like us to know that Mastercard Foundation is very what did I say? It's like I call them like their parents. These are parents who, like the way a parent will not like their children to fail. Since Mastercard Foundation is meant for Africans, their thing is they know the challenges we face as Africans. For example, low internet, low data. Maybe you don't have a laptop, you have to go to the cyber cafes, or you have to borrow someone's laptop or computer to apply. So they try and make the application and process as easy as possible. That is why I was just encouraging most of us as East Africans to try these opportunities, because it's not very hard to get, but just put yourself out there. Don't be afraid and don't disqualify yourself. You can make it. So the next slide. I think I've done enough introduction. The next slide. So the program is meant for Africans, and for the last 7 years, Mastercard has been offering scholarships to around 20 different countries in Africa. But now, from this year moving forward, they've decided to change their topic to climate change, and they are focusing on more climate aware people who are more climate aware, and people who like to go into the climate change, or people who like to be mentored into African climate leaders. We are working with like 1,000 scholars, alumni from 2023. Okay, from 2023 this year up to 2030, they are aiming at giving 1,000 people scholarships. So I'm just telling myself, among these 1,000 people, we have to be like, we just have to fight for these spaces. Even if you apply for the next year, 2024, and you don't get, you can imagine we still have a range of 7 good years. And I'm imagining some of us are below 30 years. And the cutoff period is, the cutoff age is 35. So you can still apply for the next 7 years. Make sure you've gotten, even if it's not you, someone, maybe your neighbor, someone who you know is challenged and they want to advance. This is how you spread the good news. Like you try and make in each and every year, let one of us be an alumni, or let one of us be part of this scholarship. So the new program is called the Climate Leadership Programs, and it offers postgraduate education for young and opportunities for young climate activists. The program includes climate justice, summer school placements, and entrepreneurial parts. So what this means is, like, the summer school is what they call internship. Back home, they call it internship, and also placements and entrepreneurial parts. This means that they try and help you think of your academics and think of your writings and everything according to the climate change topic. That's the topic that's going on right now. So they'll try and mentor you into whatever idea you have. Like, it will try and build up to their theme, you see. So they encourage applications from young women, people with disabilities, refugees, those people who can contribute unique perspectives into climate solutions. I'm going to focus on the one about refugees. They call people who are refugees, or people who are from forced displaced backgrounds. I would like to just mention something about that. I think some of us are Kenyans, and some of us have ever been displaced. If you remember the 2007-2008 post-election violence, we and our family, we got displaced during that period. So when I was applying for the scholarship and they asked me, have you ever been displaced? Do you identify yourself as someone who's ever been internally displaced? It wasn't a big issue to me, but I just said yes. And they were like, oh, go on about it. So I told them, of course, it didn't affect me personally, but it affected some of our family members. And it also affected some part of my academics. Realize that any challenge that you've ever gone through, anything that in your life that has ever halted your studies, be it financial studies, be it moving from one city to the other. For example, along your high school, along your campus life, you couldn't continue with your education because of this and this challenge. I would encourage you to mention that in your application, because that really shows how vulnerable you are in the environment that you are, and it also shows that you are very interested to explore opportunities academically, but the environment that you are is not really, let's just say the environment that you are is not nurturing you to be the best of your abilities. And that is why you need the scholarship. That's one point to note. Next slide. Next slide. Okay, so the key personal traits of the Africans we are definitely have said we are looking for. They are looking for Africans, those who can demonstrate exceptional leadership and commitment to creating lasting change. When they say a leader, you don't have to be like the chief of your community or a very big person in your community. You could be a leader of maybe even a church community, a church small group, whatever in whatever capacity you are in leadership. Some of us were high school prefects, some of us were head boys, head girls. You know those things in academics how they go. Any trait that you have of leadership of yourself, even if it traces back to your high school ages or campus ages, mention that. Don't forget to mention that. It inspires and mobilizes others. If you inspire and you mobilize other people for sustainable lives, you see these people who are always, I don't know what we call them. I could say David is one of the of such quality, someone who is there for other people, and you want to mobilize change in your own small community. Then I think that's the kind of person they are looking for. You also foster collaboration and community engagement, as in you're involved in your community. Mastercard Foundation, they really they really like people who have community engagement, people who can give back to their community. And I will say that is what I'm doing right now. Because if I had kept this information to myself, I don't know, it's not being selfish. Some people will say they are busy, but if you remember where you are from, and that is how we as a continent we are going to go, we as an East African community we are going to go. If you foster collaboration, community engagement, and if you're giving back to your community and society, then you're most likely to get such a scholarship. If you prioritize inclusive and equity and diverse populations, some of us in our different countries, we have people from different tribes, and maybe in interacting educationally, you've gone to school with people of different tribes. Some of us went to boarding school, and you are able to interact with people who are different from your culture. You should mention that, like, how are you able to fit into that community, maybe in your campus? If you've ever had any international experience, maybe moving from one country to the other, moving from one city to the other, and you are able to just merge with these people and really, like you've always been able to be part of the community, even if it's a different tribe from your place, please mention that. Yes, and I've mentioned the part about being a leader. Next. So yeah, this is a lot of this, but I would like to mention that everything that I'm reading, it's just a summary from the website, from the Mastercard Scholarship Edinburgh website, and you can read this at your own time. As I've said, like, it's after this session, please take time to just check on the website and do your homework, do your research, and note some important points. So applicants will have faced significant barriers to education. Yeah, like I said, if you've ever faced any financial barriers like raising your school fees up to campus, that's a significant barrier that's worth mentioning. Applicants must have graduated from an undergraduate study by 2023. I assume that most of us have already completed their undergraduate study, and the cut point is usually second class, upper division, first class, like 2.1, second class, first upper division. And applicants must be residents and citizens of or refugees status in sub-Saharan African countries. I believe most of us are from East Africa. Okay. Applicants must have faced barriers to education in their early career. Yes, it goes back to the point of facing barriers, be it economic barriers, be it what, tribal or gender barriers. Yeah, for example, if you come from a community where you really had to struggle going to school because you're a woman or because you're a lady, or maybe you come from a community where schools were not around, and you had to travel so far, like you understand people who make long walks to school, even if it was in primary school, please mention that. Applicants should not have previously completed a postgraduate degree. Yes, unfortunately, they usually give opportunity or priority to those people who've not had the chance to do their masters anywhere. Applicants must be 35 years or under. So that I had already said, the age limit is usually 35. But even if you're turning 35 next year, 2024, as long as you'll be 35 below, like the 1st of September will find you while you're still below 35, you are eligible to apply. We have people who are on that age limit, like they're sitting on that age here, and we are together, and they still got the opportunity. Applicants must demonstrate experience or at least ambition of making meaningful impact in addressing the climate crisis. Okay, I will say that I know most of us are not familiar with the topic of climate change, but at least even in your local community, things like we'll say like in Africa or probably in Kenya, you see things like garbage collection, things like environmental pollution, how the air is. You see, try and do some homework about your local community and how the environmental issues are affecting you, so that during the interview, when they ask, or during your essay, when they ask how you are demonstrating a meaningful impact in addressing climate change or climate crisis, don't look blank, don't look like I don't have interest and I don't even want to know. Just mention something regarding your local community. You could say like, I've ever participated in community cleanup activities, or maybe we sensitize people about, maybe during COVID-19, we sensitize people about just keeping the environment clean and all those stuff. I know most of us are involved in those community activities. Applicants must demonstrate a track record of leadership and service within the community. Yes, it still goes back to the work in your community. If applying for on-campus masters, applicants should not have previously completed postgraduate. Yeah, and then we have online studies and on-campus studies. But I believe most of you would like to come to study in Edinburgh. The advantage of coming all the way to Edinburgh is, of course, the sacrifice of leaving your country to come abroad is one. The other thing is the what do you call it? The postgraduate degree in Edinburgh is exactly 1 year. Can you imagine? It is 9 months. Most degrees or most postgraduate degrees back home go up to 3 years, go up to 4 years, and sometimes it depends on how your relationship with the lecturers. They might just want to delay and make you stay in school for up to 5 years. But this opportunity to come and study abroad is just 9 months, and then the next 3 months will be the 9 months, then 3 months of like research, of which I feel like it is good, even if you have a project happening back home, or you have your organization, you would like to come abroad, study 1 year, and then you could go back to your country, you see. But for the online studies, the online part-time studies, it stretches up to 2.5 years. Those are like 3 years. So it's up to you. You could choose the online one, or you could choose the on-campus one. Yes. Next. Okay, so the programs that we have this year are like the ones you can see on screen. They are in Africa and international development. Like I mentioned, like we are in phase 2 of scholarships for the Mastercard Foundation, and this phase 2, they are aiming at nurturing climate, what do we call them? People who are climate aware. The topic of climate change is becoming very common, and it's the order of the day. So they are aiming at nurturing leaders who can speak climate fluent languages. So now the courses they are offering is Africa International Development, Food Security. All these are master's courses. Sustainable development, entrepreneurship and innovation, data inequality and society. Actually, I am doing data inequality in society. I will speak more about that. Data inequality in society is like how you use data and numbers to show the inequality in our societies. Like if you say girls in Africa are disadvantaged, it's a general term, or it's a general statement. It's different from when you say that 1 in 10 girls are disadvantaged in Africa, in Kenya, in Nairobi. You see, like it's how you use the numbers to really narrow down your research. That is what I chose because I was thinking of gender inequality, but I couldn't find a course in gender inequality. So I chose the data inequality and society. And they also have operational research, environmental sustainability, climate change, finance and investment, planetary health, environment and development. I think if you do your research very well and if you check the website, each and every of these course has further explanation about what the course entails. And that is very important because in your essay or in your interview, they will ask you, why have you chosen Africa and international development? Or why have you chosen food security? Most especially if your background is not in any of this. Like I was coming from journalism and communication. I had never done research. I had never done anything to do with climate change before. Like I had to really read. I was reading for the interview like an exam because it's not very good to sound blank. It's like I want to come to your house and I don't know the address to your house. I don't know how your house look like. It doesn't look good for like a first impression. So if you're looking to pass these interviews, you have to really know the course you want. Why do I want food security and not environmental sustainability? And don't be scared of these big terms like entrepreneurship and innovation, blah, blah. No, just look at all these courses first and know where you lie because you might find a very thin line between entrepreneurship and innovation and climate change finance and investment. So you have to really state. And sometimes the interview will even have someone from that course or maybe a professor. So if the professor asks you, what do you know about this course? You have to answer like, yeah, you really know it. You don't answer like, hey, I do not read, but I just want the interview. No, I just want the scholarship. No. Yeah, I think that's it. Next. Okay, so this the most like important part, but I think I've been giving you pointers on how you write your essay. So your personal statement is a chance to showcase your personal journey, challenges, dedication to your community, and not just academic achievements. When you hear of the word scholarship, most people usually think like, I should have been a first class student, I should be an A student, maybe always the first student in my class. No, for Mastercard Foundation, they don't just look at academics, and that is the best thing about it because most of us disqualify ourselves because we didn't get a first class or maybe we were just average students in our studies. But for Mastercard Foundation, they give you a chance to just tell us about your life. It's about your life. And like I usually say, like my the person who really helped me to I was very afraid of the interview, first of all, and she told me she was Kenyan. She just told me, remember your story is your story. Maybe I met David, for example, at one young white conference, and I saw him once. I don't know his story, but when he tells me his story, I have no other way than just to believe because you are you and you are unique. There is nowhere that someone will come and copy paste your story. But if you go and read all these essays from maybe Chat GPT, like I don't know, you just go online and just write how do I write the essay for my personal statement to pass a scholarship. It will give you other people's story. But if you tell your story, it is very unique and it's usually actually the first point they see. And the second stage of the interview is usually online and they would like you to turn on your camera. So you can imagine if someone is lying, I'm very sure you can tell from the face. And if someone is telling about the story, there is a way like you just it's like a movie. you follow up with the story, and you can tell if there are loopholes, you can tell if the person is lying, and you can also tell if the person is really worthy of getting that scholarship. For example, I would say that during my first year in high school, I did not manage to attend school for the first 1 month because I did not have enough school fees, and this is the challenges that I faced. Or, for example, maybe I come from a community where we face floodings every now and then during the high and low seasons of rain. So due to that cause, some of my days I could not attend the full school calendar. So a full year of academic calendar because of this and this and this. That is your story. But if you go online, do your research. Research is good, but then you want to like look like somebody else. It's not usually good during the interview session, and also as you write your story. And in writing your story, I've mentioned this and I'll mention again. Go back to your primary school, your high school, and your campus. Was there a challenge you ever faced? Was there maybe something that have you ever felt at any point in your academic life like, I just want to give up and just stop my studies because of this and this and this? That is what they want to hear. If it was school fees, maybe you lost your parents, maybe you had to move countries, or maybe your parents used to shift jobs, and each and every academic year you used to transfer schools. That is a very important thing, and it shows that if you are helped to succeed, that means you will help other people not to go through what you went through. Maybe some of us went through FGM. You see FGM and gender bias in your academics. Please mention that in your story. The next thing, express passion, aspirations, and commitment to change. Use your essay to convey your genuine self and your passion. Yeah, just like I've said. For example, if right now you're given the chance to come and study in a first world country, you'll want to lift up your whole village. And that is usually what they want to know. If we give you the chance to come and study, will you come and are you the kind of person who you've not, I'm not saying like going through challenges is a bonus point, but your story and your journey can tell if your aspirations, and it can just tell where you are and where you would like to go given the chance to study. Yes. Next slide. So we usually have like the aces are usually 5 aces, and each of these 5 aces are different sections, like, and each of the aces are 250 words. So you have to think very well what you are writing. These questions I got them from the essays I wrote last year, and I'm really hoping that this year they will also use almost the same questions to just ask you to write your essays. So the first question was, show your experiences if you fit into the category mentioned. Either you are a woman, refugee, people with disability, or someone who's ever faced challenge in your academic. I've said that over and over again. Any issue that you ever faced in your academics. For example, in the Kenyan system, they've introduced something about how to choose your university, like the cluster points and everything. Maybe you missed 1 point to, and for you to enter into law, or for you to get into medicine, you could say like, I missed this and this and this, but on the other hand, I saw some of my classmates who had the same points as me going into university simply because they had the money. But me, I did not have. So I was just stuck into tertiary level or college, or I had to volunteer, or I had to go to school, look for a side job because I was the firstborn and I had to fend for my siblings. That's a beautiful story. Demonstrated track record of transformative leadership through current or past projects. Yes, some of us do not have NGOs, some of us do not have our foundations yet, but in your community, do you stand out? In your church, do you stand out? Probably in any gathering around you, in your schools, were you this person who was just like you were just there for academics, or did you ever participate in anything like sports and with that sports team, or maybe you are the captain of the sports team, and you used to organize like yearly functions, or each and every semester you used to organize tournaments. That's being a leader in that such a capacity. Or maybe you went to boarding school and you are the captain, dorm prefect, all those leadership, all those leadership traits, bring them out. How would a Mastercard Foundation scholarship support your development personally or professionally? Like I say, we have universities in Africa, we have schools in Kenya or Uganda or any other place. But now, what is really making you to choose the Mastercard Foundation scholarship? I would say, like, how you argue this out is you say, like, the scholarship is meant for Africans, one. So that means they understand the African story. And how will it develop you personally? Probably you come from a challenge. You come from a challenged background, yeah. So you should highlight how it will help you personally. You see, the experience to come study abroad is incredible. And how will that help you to develop career wise? How will it help you develop professionally? Like in my essay, I said how, of course, we have universities back home, but the universities are not as resourceful as the ones we have abroad. So you could say that given the chance to come study here and the resources that are available, I will use my network and my skills, the skills that I've learned, to bring development back home. Of course, when you come to an international university, there is the networking. You network with people who are not just from your country, people who are different from your continent. That is a broad network that you could extend your whole life. You understand? Yeah, I think that's a valid answer. Please explain how the degree program you have chosen to study here relates to your future goals. Yes, like I said, you have to read all the degrees that have been listed there and really argue out, why do I want Africa and international development instead of food security, instead of this and this and this? Because that question you'll have to write it down, and remember it's 250 words explaining why you want this course and not this course. What experience do you have promoting social inclusion? So, okay, I will say, like I said, an international university is a place where you meet people of all kinds. So they don't want someone who has never had experience of inclusivity in their lives. If some of us have gone to undergraduate school, like University of Nairobi or Multimedia University, wherever you went, I'm sure you had that experience of interacting with your classmates from different areas in your country. So they want to see, are you a person who can fit into a community? And once you set your foot on international ground, I would say there is no way you're going to interact with your villagers or people of your tribe alone. You'll interact with people who are not even of your language. Sometimes you'll even have to like struggle to relate with them. And to some people, it might discourage them, but to some people, that's an adventurous way of just living their life. You see, so they want to see, are you someone who is socially like friendly? Do you like environments where people are of different kinds, different cultures? And have you ever experienced that? Yeah. Or maybe as a woman, have you ever been in a job where you are the only woman? And how did you overcome that? You see, how did you overcome the gender biases, or maybe even racism, or even tribalism? You've ever maybe been in a community where you're the only tribe, and you somehow stood out and you managed to overcome that. They want to see that in your essay. Next. Yeah, okay. Some of the essay, of course, might be challenging to write, but seek guidance, seek knowledge from other people who've gone through these scholarships. And I will say that if you check, for example, Edinburgh Scholars or Mastercard Foundation scholarships on LinkedIn or Instagram or YouTube, you will definitely find. And after you found one who is resonating with you, like there's that one person who is always telling their story and they tell it very well, try and follow what they're saying, try and seek guidance from them. If you can inbox them, if you can have access to their contacts, don't hesitate. Just ask them, hey, I've done this and this, and what's the next step, and which program can I apply for? Yeah. Or you can even ask at this stage. You can even ask your professors or your supervisors. Some of us are working, so probably you have that boss who knows you really well, like the person who can tell you for your future. I would like you to, like, this course suits you best, and this is how you'll apply to that course. Also consult with mentors, advisors, online resources. Yeah, reach out to mentors, advisors, and use online resources like I've said, from former scholars on YouTube for guidance. Don't think like this is your war and you have to die alone, you have to fight to the end. No, just seek guidance. If you feel like if you feel like you're trying to write your essay and you can't find the words, try and go back to the people who know you very well, someone who can mentor you, maybe a scholar who's around you. If you don't have scholars around, you could check for people maybe from your country who've ever gotten scholarships. How can they help you? How can their story shape your application? Then get feedback on ACEs. After you've already asked these people for guidance, don't end it at that point. Ask them to tell you the truth about it. You ask them, have I written my story in a good way? And if they ask you to correct this, and maybe like professors, I admire our school professors and people who've taught us in our undergraduate. Those are very resourceful people. If you have that one lecturer who used to inspire you, or maybe one lecturer that you're still in contact with, or maybe your boss, you could just be genuine and open about it. Show them your aces and let them go through it. And remember, time is key because the application process is right now it's open October and it's closing in December. So if you tell these people to review your aces, you have to keep reminding them, hey, what did you see? What could you do about my story? Or you can even set up a call. Like right now we are on this Zoom call. You could set up a call one evening or even whenever they are free. Or if someone it's a person in your same town, I would advise like you could meet and you just sit down and check your aces together. Is this working? Is this good for me to write? How best could I write this? Yeah. I wouldn't advocate for AI assistance at this level, like ChatGPT and all that. I would advocate for someone who's ever gone through this process because they are human and they know what the interviewers are looking for. Next. Okay, the last but not least is, for example, right now we were just saying with David, we could be having such sessions almost every week if it's possible until the application period is over, for us to just remind ourselves and keep checking up on who has applied, where are you, at what point do you need assistance. But it's also important for you to do your homework. Keep tabs of important dates, like go to the Mastercard Foundation Edinburgh website. They've already opened up the application. So what am I supposed to do next? The most important date, the next one is by 1st December, you should have crossed the eligibility of the course you have chosen. So that means you need to do your homework and you need to start crafting your essays. You need to start looking for people who can mentor you during this whole process of application. And once you've gone past the application process, the deadline of applying is 7th December. After that, you can, I usually say after you've applied and you've done your homework, you've done your research, you submitted your essay, the rest you just leave it to God. The next thing is you should follow Mastercard Foundation scholarships on all the social medias. Please, because sometimes we are human. I might forget to tell David, or we might forget to remind each other. But if you're constantly checking, and most importantly, LinkedIn is very serious because on LinkedIn, you will find that people are just posting very short or very straight to the point information that will help you even in your application. Check the website in case you need further clarification. It goes without saying. Definitely, you will apply through the website. So that means you need to keep checking the website. is there any clarification I need to understand? I need to understand more about this course. I need to understand, or sometimes you just need to see how Edinburgh looks like, or you want to see a different university from Edinburgh. The Mastercard Foundation Scholarship also has scholars in Cambridge University. It also has scholars in Oxford University. You would like to compare what's the courses in Edinburgh, what are the courses in Cambridge, and what are the courses in Oxford. What is the criteria of application? You see, like we are human and we don't have all the information at hand. So it's always good to do your research and keep checking this website. Next. Yeah, that's it.
Exactly. So anybody with questions, you can bring it on.
Okay, I would like to say something. I would like to welcome someone, Grace Akinyi. She is also a scholar. We are with her in the same university. We are with her in the same year. So, like, yeah, we were just talking about how most of this year there are 11 Nigerians, like I would say about 15, 20, 15 West Africans, and Kenyans we are 4, Ugandans are 4, so that's like 10, and there is no Tanzanian, there is no Rwanda, there's no Rwandese, there's no Burundian. So like there is need for just us as East Africans to keep applying for this, you know. I usually say, like, if we are united, that is how we can even talk about our issues together. We can speak in one voice if we are united. So please send this information to some of your relatives, some of your friends back home. Then I would like to see the next cohort to be filled with East Africans. Yeah, I will be very happy. Especially, yeah, Kenyans, Ugandans. Yes. Grace, would you like to add up something, or yeah, or should we wait for the questions?
Okay, thank you, Popo, for arranging for this. It really makes me so happy that this is a Kenyan audience, and by extension, maybe East Africans.
Ugandans, we have Ugandans.
Yeah, sure. It really makes me so happy, and because I'm saying that because I've had like a lot of sessions with West Africans, and these people are overly aggressive. And sometimes I ask myself, where are people, you know, where are Kenyans and Ugandans and Tanzanians? Because we really should not be lagging behind. So as Popo said, my name is Grace Akinyi. I'm Kenyan. I'm doing MSc Entrepreneurship and Innovation for this cohort 2023-2024. I think Popo has tackled quite a lot of very important things. I was following keenly, and she has mentioned nearly every important thing. I just wanted to add on something that she talked about in leadership. When you're crafting your leadership parts of the essay, please use what is called STAR approach. So like when you're explaining your story, and I love the way she talked about, you don't have to be like big people in organizations. You don't have to like have your own initiative. You can actually show your leadership from whichever place you stand. So for example, you are a sweeper, but you have taken initiative in your small capacity as a sweeper in your organization. What was the impact? So when you're doing when you're arguing for your leadership, you're supposed to use the STAR approach. Say the situation, the task, the action, and the results. And when you're using that STAR approach, when you're doing your result, please show us numbers. Show us the results in figures, like how many people were impacted by the action you took. Okay, so you say, okay, I've been doing this kind of work in this organization, but while there, I noted this problem. So that is the problem you noted, that's the situation. Then you go and tell us what was the task. So you say, in response to this problem, this is the action that I took. And out of my action, this was the impact. And when you're demonstrating impact, it becomes more credible when you use numbers, when you use figures, when you say like, this action that I took, it helped to reduce the problem by this percentage. So that's really very, very important when you're crafting your leadership essay. Another thing is on hardship, endurance to hardship. I wanted to also add there, like it doesn't really matter what hardship, and by the way, as Africans, just by the fact that we are Africans, we really are enduring a lot. So it doesn't have to be like you thinking about financial leadership constraint or poverty or all that. You might have any other challenge, but the point is that when you are arguing for your endurance to hardship, please tell us how you overcame it. So for example, I had a problem with my fee. I had a problem with myself. I wrote that I was struggling to sustain myself as a job student in Kenyatta University. But how did I overcome this? I said, okay, because now I had a problem. I had a financial problem. What did I do? I started hawking shoes and second-hand clothes to my fellow students in campus. Okay, so with this, I didn't stop at the point that now I had a problem. I started doing something about it. And what was it? I started hawking shoes. I started hawking secondhand clothes. And out of that, I was able to leverage on the network that I had with my fellow students to vie for a leadership position in school. And also I was able to get some money to send my parents back home and to sustain myself in school. So that is how I ended up turning the situation from a point of lack to using that to my own advantage. So when you're arguing for endurance to hardship, please don't let the story stop at the point that you experienced something bad. Tell us how you were able to turn it to create something good for yourself. I have a friend of mine who unfortunately lost a child. We are with her in the cohort. And when she lost a child because she could not access breast milk. But she did not stop there. She said, okay, because of this now, I started an initiative to see how other mothers who are experiencing the same challenge as me can provide solution to that. So right now she's running an initiative that touches on breast milk donations to mothers. So that is, I'm just telling you that so that you can actually have a point of how do you turn your problems into your strengths. Yeah, so that is something else that I wanted to talk about. And finally, I want to say this. The difference between people who get scholarship and those who don't get scholarship is research, period. Like guys, the scholarship was opened the other day. There are people who have already submitted their essays. And then you wonder, what have they written? Don't be quick to send your essay. Please do research. Go to YouTube, go to LinkedIn, meet people, just be there and be bothersome. Hi, Grace, I want to apply for this Mastercard. How do I go about it? Hi, Pauline, please help me here. Watch YouTubes, then craft your essay. See how you want to write your story. And Pauline has talked about something very, very important. Guys, be original, be authentic. People who are authentic are more relatable. And these people who are going to mark your essays, they know these people here in the Western world, AI is something that people really know how to detect. So like you write using ChatGPT, they will know. If it is not your story, they will just know. Be authentic, be original, and write your story to a point that even you feel, okay, I own this story. This is mine. This is who I am, Because when you write your story, there's a way that it even speaks to you. So just be original, be authentic, do research, be as thorough with research as possible. The difference between you and the person who will not get the scholarship is research. So I just wanted to also stress on that. Otherwise, guys, I'm really, really so happy, Popo, for doing this. This really speaks to me, because even as we were, people held our hands. So I'm so happy to see you giving back in this way. If you have more questions, you can reach to us, and I know we will be there to support you. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Okay, yeah, thank you so much, Grace. And the friend she mentioned who started the organization from losing a baby from lack of breast milk, she is Ugandan. And I was thinking for the next session, we could have the Ugandans joining, some of our scholars who are Ugandans, so that, yeah, you see, when you find someone from your country speaking in your language, yeah, it kind of inspires you. You think like, wow, I would like to be there. I would like, when I was applying for my scholarship, the people who I saw online, I didn't have someone personal to talk to me, but I just saw the YouTube videos and everything. And most of the videos were from West Africans, and most of them were Nigerians. So I kept wondering, Kenyans, Ugandans, Tanzanians, where are we? Like, yeah, so let's just come out. So Virginia Muringe has asked, are the projected courses or programs the only ones supported or funded under the Mastercard program scholars? Okay, I think you mean to ask if the courses that I showed are the only ones which are supported by Mastercard. Yes. The thing with scholarship is usually this. I would like to say it from a different perspective. Now you see, if we want to help 1,000 students in the next 7 years, they usually think of courses which are like short, which will not take much time, and which will also not take much funding, but it will benefit many people in the long run. I think that is why they choose specific courses. If you look at scholarships, most of the scholarships, they don't spread out the scholarship to each and every course. They usually choose certain courses, which I think they're more beneficial. And then I would like to say, don't be afraid to choose the courses. After choosing the courses, when you come on campus, there is also choosing the subjects. You're given about 1 week or 2 weeks to choose the subjects you want for under that semester. In that subject, for example, you wanted to do something to do with the arts, and maybe you went for the data inequality. Like me, I'm not a maths and numbers person, but I just chose the data inequality and society. But when it came to choosing my subjects, I went for the subject that was speaking of more of humanities, you see. So I would like to say, like, the choosing of courses, let it not prevent you from applying for the scholarship. The first step first is understand the course very well, and then once you've chosen and you've applied and you've come to school, you can always craft your way around the course. And trust you, after one semester, after 1 year of studying that course, you will fall in love with that course. But at the same time, don't go too far from something that you're not passionate about, because yeah, when the studies get intense, you start feeling like you're giving up, you start feeling like you regret, you don't want this course, you miss home, you want to do this. But if you choose something that is passionate to you, even reading the books and everything will be easy for you. Okay, do we need reference letters or recommendation letters for the application? Yes, we need a letter from a referee. That also speaks. The mentors and the people that I was saying you're supposed to consider when applying for your scholarship. These mentors will also act as your referee. They will need someone who knows you. For example, maybe you've ever met your university president or your university director, or let's just say maybe your country's ministers, and you think because their name is very famous, you decide to put them as your referee on application. That's not good. Choose someone who knows you. I will say choose your parent, but of course it's not good to choose someone you are related with by blood. But I mean, choose someone who knows you in and out. A good example are our college professors, our teachers, people who've worked with us in the academic journey. Another thing, choose someone who reads their own emails often, or someone who rather is digitally informed. You see, you might choose someone from the village who doesn't have even access to internet. They've been sent the email, they need to write an essay about you, and maybe it will take them 1 month to reply to the email. Again, the application time is running out. So as you're choosing your referee, choose someone who is very prompt digitally I mean someone who can read their emails and reply to the email as quick as possible, and also choose someone who knows you very well. In my case, I had worked for 1 year as a research assistant, and I chose my next immediate supervisor as my referee. Realized that we had known each other only for 1 year, so I had a lot of work to tell her about me, like, hey, this is who I am, this is who I am. Because if your script is reading different from what your referee is saying, that might also they might start questioning, is this person genuine? Because the referee, for example, maybe you say you've ever studied in Makerere, and when your referee is being asked, they say they know you studied in Nairobi University. You see, those are conflicting information. Once you've chosen your referee, you have the work of telling your referee about yourself, or rather, you could download your application letter and send it to your referee so that she reads your story on how you applied your story, the story you said you told the scholarship guys. You see, that's the same story she will also write, so that there is no conflicting information about you from the referee. Yes, and keep your referee in touch. Yeah, keep checking on them. Hey, have you read the email? Have the Mastercard guys spoken to you? Not in a nagging way, but just in a good way. How does the application work? Do we apply to the program we want that is supported by the foundation first, then apply to the scholarship, or the other applications are done concurrently and separately? First of all, you have to check the website, Mastercard Foundation Scholarship. I think, let me just I will drop a link of the website before the call ends, so that we could see it. So, like, you check the courses you want, and the courses which are preferred by Mastercard, and those are the courses that I already showed you. So under the courses, there is that eligibility. Are you eligible? We start with eligibility, because you might have the passion for African development studies, but you're not eligible. Maybe they have the qualification is to be an undergraduate student. You've already done your undergraduate degree, and you should have attained at least second class upper division. You see, so those are some of the eligibility. Are you from an African country? Are you 35 years and below? You have to pass this eligibility. So the first thing is you check the eligibility. You go to the Mastercard Foundation scholarships, and you apply to the scholarship through Mastercard Foundation. So you apply for the scholarship first. You apply for the scholarship first. Okay. Virginia, I would like to know if that I've answered the question well. Okay. Hello, Pauline. I am Joel, and I wish to ask the following. What are some of the challenges international students face? Okay. The challenges of international students, I would like to say there are many, but as Africans, of course, we've been through many challenges back home, and being an international student is just another challenge that you should not let it get into your head. You should always know that, like, you should always be resilient, in that what brought you here is studies. You see, if we had the financial ability, if we had good institutions back home, we couldn't have come to study abroad. But some of the challenges, I would say, one, the weather will just affect you, definitely. Another thing, the food. When we came, some of us carried so much food from home, but later on we started realizing that, hey, this food will already run out. Like, you can't keep eating your local food each and every day. And it's also good for you to start adapting to the culture, to the, like, British culture, or to whatever country you will go. Because some of us, after staying here for so long, you start realizing that furthermore, I can still remain here, I can work here. So you start adapting to the culture. You see, I would advise that the challenges are there. Yeah, sometimes there is racism. There's some of the units in my class, I go to class and I find myself as the only Black student. You're surrounded with Asians, you're surrounded with the Chinese community, you're surrounded with the British, and some whites. You know, there's some of the whites who are from other European countries. But that should not get into your head. You're a person of color, but that should not get into your head. you know what you're here for. And none of them has even been to Africa before. So some even want to associate with you in a good way, and some want to associate with you in a bad way, but that should not distract you from your studies. Is it possible to land a scholarship despite not attaining a second class upper honors? Wow, that's a very tricky question. But for the Mastercard, it's usually very hard because they've set it as the standard. And even if it's not for the Mastercard, for the school to accept you, you see, what the Mastercard people try to do is, it's like they try to vouch for us as Africans. They know that some of us as Africans, we can't go to these international schools direct to apply. So they try to apply it for us. They're like our parents. So one of the things they try to do is, they don't want us to make us look like we are not performing well academically, and we have to attain a certain level of academics. That is why they just choose the second class upper honors. But on that, I think if you have what experience with working with your community, or if you have a project that is resonating with the climate change topic, or if you can argue your point out, I think, yeah, I think it's worth to just try it out. Just try, yeah. I recently completed my studies at the university but haven't graduated yet. It's supposed to happen next year in May. Am I still eligible? Mhm. Okay, you know, graduation is different from getting results. Maybe you are awaiting graduation, but you have your results. I would like to know about that. But if not, the Mastercard Foundation takes in scholars each and every year. And let me tell you, 1 year will run out. It will finish very fast, you see. So this year, September, is not very far from next year, September, or next year, October. I would say think of applying. And let me tell you, your research can even go as long as 1 year. You see, the period from right now up to the next open application is very short, you see. So just do your research, get yourself involved in all these community self-help groups and community involvements and engagement. All this will help in building up your story in your application. Yeah, I will say, like, you could wait. If you don't have your results yet, you could wait. And if you have your results, just try applying. Are there any other questions? In the meantime, I could be pasting the link. Let me paste the link on the chat box. Yeah, actually, the link is very new. It was just the website was just updated 2 days ago. So yeah, we are very early into our application stages. But some of our scholars who we are with right now, when we interact and we ask ourselves, when did you apply? When did you send in your applications? Do you know some people sent in the application in the last hour, like the 11th hour? For example, your deadline will be on 7th December. There is someone who sent in the application 7th December, some minutes to midnight, and they still got the application. They still got the scholarship, I mean. Just like Grace said, don't rush in sending your essays. Don't rush in submitting your application. The most important thing is do your homework, do it very well, do your research. Some of the questions you like to ask us are there online already, and some of the questions have been answered by some former scholars who are doing YouTube videos. Some are on LinkedIn. I want to just paste their accounts here so you can follow up. You can follow them online, and you can also check the application website. Here's the link. Oh, sorry, I didn't see all these questions. Just a moment, I'm trying to paste the link. Hello, Pauline. I'm Uganda. I'm doing a bachelor's degree in community-based rehabilitation and will like to get a scholarship with Mastercard to pursue master's degree in occupational therapy. Is it possible? Okay. First of all, occupational therapy, like the field of medicine, they've not highlighted it as some of the courses under Mastercard Foundation. But what I usually say is the first gateway is usually moving out of where you are. You see, that's the first step. If this Mastercard Foundation scholarship is your first gateway out of your country, or your first stop, let's just say your first stop, because we are on a journey, this is your first stop. Don't stop at that. If you wanted to do health or healthcare or something, you can always choose courses or subjects that are in line with the healthcare system or something like that. And in the end, even in your research, you can still do your research based on healthcare. Yes, you might find yourself in the environment of climate change, but even in the environment of climate change, there are healthcare issues that you can still highlight. So don't let that deter you from applying. Kristen, I hope you've understood. Yeah, you are awaiting graduation next year, August. So I will say that just for now, you could check the courses. And do you know they keep changing the courses and they keep updating the courses? Like the courses we chose last year are not the courses you guys are choosing this year. They've actually added up more courses. So from this year to next year, I'm sure by next year, they will have improved the courses and you might find something that is more health related. So this is the link. I don't know if everyone has seen this link. Just check the meeting charts and you'll see the last link that I've posted. Yeah, you can still just check online Mastercard Foundation scholarships, University of Edinburgh. You could also check Cambridge University, because Cambridge University also offers scholarships under Mastercard Foundation. You could check their courses if there are courses you would like to do. But remember, time is short. The application is from now to December. It's good for you to decide on the school you want to study and the course you want to choose as early as possible. Any other question? Yeah, I see there's no more questions unless you like to comment or just, yeah. Oh, I promised to share links of some of the scholars that I've been following, scholars who influenced my journey. For the Ugandans, I will paste a link to a scholar who's Ugandan. Her name is Rachel. What you need to do is just click on all these links, yeah, and look at them before we end our meeting. Are you limited to applying to one uni at a time? Yeah, if you're choosing Mastercard Foundation scholarships, you can only apply for one university, one course in each and every year. You see, let's say, for example, you don't get an application this year, you don't get the chance to study this year. You could apply next year, maybe different university, or you could apply next year to the same university to the same course. You see, but you can only apply once, because they'll ask you, why are you choosing this course? Why are you choosing this university? That doesn't give you the chance to answer, like, I'm choosing two different courses. No, they only want you to answer, why are you choosing this one course? The scholarship is fully funded, including personal expenses. Can you work part-time? Yes. So the scholarship is fully funded. And from the moment they tell you you've been accepted for the scholarship, that is usually the first big message that you will receive, or the first big email that everyone usually waits for. After they've told you that, the whole journey, they will walk with you the whole journey from visa application. Some of us do not have passports. They will help you apply for your passport. They will help you apply for your visa. If there is need for you to do an English test, they will help you revise for your English test. They will pay for your English test. They will even pay for each and every, like, for example, you need, okay, what they didn't pay for is the expenses involved in your traveling. You understand, before you leave your country, you come to another country, you need things like suitcases, you need your personal effects, you need to carry some food. That pocket money there was not involved. But the moment you leave your country, they pay for your flights, they will pay for everything. The only thing you need to cater for, some people might need new cameras, new phones, new suitcases, all those things. Those are just luxury things. I usually call them their luxury things, because you're just coming here to study in the first place. And another good thing, you can work part-time. On your visa as an international student, you're allowed to work 20 hours every week. If you really have the challenge for money, or you want to send some money home, yeah, you could work 10 hours per week, 15 hours per week, or 20 hours, or 20 hours per week. And of course, the pay is also not bad. But remember, the Mastercard Foundation is also giving you pocket money. You understand? And this pocket money, if minimized or if utilized well, is enough for your upkeep, for you to spend in your, like, your food and everything, because they are also paying for your accommodation. So the only thing you lose with this pocket money is your food and your daily expenditure. Some people still squeeze the pocket money and still send it back home, but and some people manage to work at the same time while they're studying. So it's all up to you. But I usually say the reason why you got the scholarship was because you have the academic urgency to come and study. So if you feel like working or looking for money will get in the way of excelling in your academics, please just just do the studies first. Yeah. I hope, Maureen, you understood. Yeah. But they pay for everything. It is fully funded. Any other question? In the meantime, you could follow all these scholars that I'm looking for their profiles on LinkedIn, and I'm pasting their links to their profiles on the chat, so you could just click and follow them. Yeah, they usually inform scholars on the application process and how best you could tell your story. Yeah, thank you. Thank you guys for
Hi,
attending
hi,
this
Pauline.
session. Yes, hi.
Sorry, I raised my hand. Probably could not see it. So I heard you mention that you can be having sessions more oftenly just to guide people on the way forward and how to go about it. But I just wanted to know if like, for example, someone is not able to join the sessions thereafter, just for guidance and everything. Is it possible for someone to just reach out to you? Like, is there contact, like someone can reach you out, like on WhatsApp or something? Maybe if possible, you can
Yeah.
share that also. If anyone is not able to join the meetings and needs help, then maybe they can just reach out to you for guidance and everything, if that's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Let me share my contact. But as for now, I wouldn't promise like the way we reply to messages immediately. But once I read your message, even if I don't reply the same day, just understand that I'm in between assignments and we're always having our assessments for this semester. So I'm trying to balance both, because I also want to guide each and every one of you. So I will still reply. And most of the times, I might not reply as a message. I might send you a link to a video or to a YouTube, or something that will inform you better. I might not give you the answer straight on, but I might send you a link leading you to where you'll find your answer. I don't know if that is, you've understood that.
That's okay. That's okay. That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I've sent my number on the chat.
Chat. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Any other question? I think we could call it a day. But don't forget to do your homework, keep researching, and don't give up. It will be well.
There's a question on the chat. I don't know if you've seen it. Can you do
Can you do intercourse transfer? No. Once you've chosen your course, it's difficult. Actually, you cannot, because once you've chosen your course, remember I told you during the interview, they might bring in a professor who is from the faculty that you've chosen, maybe from African Development Studies, and how you argue out your application and how you answer your question in the interview. Like, why do you want to choose African Development Studies is what will determine if you will get this course. So there's no way you will come in and tell me after 1 year or after 1 month, you want to change your course. No. Once you've been accepted by the school, once you've been accepted by the Mastercard Foundation to do a certain course, that's it. And remember, they are targeting a certain number of scholars by the end of 2030. For example, they want 10 scholars in African international development, 10 scholars in food security, 10 scholars in climate change and investment. So if you choose a certain course, you've already ticked the box that, hey, we have 10 scholars in this. So if you choose to change, that's as much as it's like same as saying I want to reject the scholarship, you see. So you don't want to put yourself in such a position. That is why I'm saying your homework is very important. Do your research, read these courses very well, and know what it means to do this course. And under those courses, they have even put the career path you could follow, or the kind of jobs you could get after studying this course. You see, maybe you want to be a professor, maybe you want to work for the United Nations as a policy maker. You see those courses and everything, it is written there on those courses, under those courses, as some of the key career paths that you could follow. So that is why it goes back to just knowing yourself and knowing yourself very well. For example, you've never done health before, and then now you want to choose a career in health and environment. What is making you to go into that way? You say it has a lot to do with you and your personality and your character. You say not even your academics, it's just you and your perseverance. Can you persevere? And if, for example, you've finished your education, would you like to work? Where would you like to work? That is also another way of choosing your course. Where would you like to work? And have you seen people who've worked in your area, the area you like? Which courses did they choose? Maybe your professor could also guide you in choosing the course. Yeah. Joy, have I answered that to the best of my ability? I have tried to answer the question, but no, it's impossible. You can't do a course transfer.
Hey, Popo, could I add something?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I understand we are here and we are voting for Mastercard, but there's somebody who asked about, do you stand a chance to get scholarship with second lower? And my advice is that I'm just like, if you are so much into scholarship, please cast your net wider. Currently, there's an open window for several scholarships. And one thing with scholarship is that you can actually use one application to send to different scholarships. So really don't limit yourself. You can use the same application to send to Chevening, to Erasmus Mundus, to the governmental scholarships like the Irish government, Holland government. Right now, it's an open window for so many scholarships. So maybe you've tried your luck with Mastercard, but you're not lucky enough. You can still get scholarship opportunities with other scholarships. Because when you look, for example, Mastercard right now, they've raised the number from 35 to 55 for on-campus and online campus also a higher number. But when you look at the continental population and the people who apply, sometimes there is only small chance to get this scholarship. So that's why I usually advise, like, yes, I'm here, I'm voting for Mastercard, and in all sincerity, Mastercard is by far the best scholarship in the world. But if you are really looking into getting into the scholarship journey, please cast your net wider. Use that one application to also apply for other scholarships. Yeah, I wanted to pitch on that, because people with second lower, you can actually get scholarship with Chevening, for example. You can get a scholarship with other organizations that don't really look into academic qualification. But when it comes to Mastercard, Mastercard normally partners with the toppest universities in the world. So you realize Mastercard is partnering with Oxford, with Cambridge, with Edinburgh. These are very, very top universities. So sometimes they don't accept second lower applications from second lower. But that doesn't stop you. If you have second lower, look for other scholarships that accept for it. There are so many scholarships that don't even bother about academic qualifications. So don't lock yourself out. You still stand a chance with other scholarships. Use the information that Popo has given you to apply for other scholarships. If you don't get this one, you will get the other one. So I wanted to also add on that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Grace. I had forgotten that. Another thing is people usually focus on UK, USA, Australia, and Canada. And most of the people are afraid of other countries like the European countries, Poland, Germany. You see, the problem with these countries is the language. You find that sometimes they require you to learn their language. But as long as you're in the Europe environment, as long as you're in the Western countries, you'll definitely find someone who knows how to speak English. Don't be afraid. And I know East Africans, we know how to speak English and we speak it well. So don't be afraid to apply to other countries. Don't just focus on UK, USA, America, or Canada. The goal is just to get out of our continent first. That's the first step. After you are out, in whatever way, in whatever scholarship you get, we can always still find a way to just make things work back home. Or after 1 year, after 2 years, you realize this opportunity was an eye opener. This is the first chance. It opens your eyes, and you even feel like you like to apply for other scholarships, maybe PhD, do a second master's, do another undergraduate degree. Yeah, the most important thing is usually the first step. It's usually the hardest, but once you've gotten the first step, all these chances will be accessible to you. Any other question?
There's no any other question on the chat. So unless someone wants to bring something else, I think it's all clear now.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for your time. And I hope you've learned something.
Thanks, Pauline. Also to just appreciate you. I don't know if David, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you so much.
So I hand it over back to you, David. Thanks, Pauline.
Welcome.
Thank you, Pauline. Thank you, everyone, for joining, and thank you for the great conversation. Grace, it's been a pleasure as well hosting you. Even though we did not invite you, you've been very valuable in sharing those insights, and I'm glad that you're actually learning together and sharing those insights with us. And I'm hoping most of us who have been part of the call, please make the applications. You might miss on the first attempt. There's always another chance, and all you need is just one chance to get there. You'll be good to go. So give it your best, and all the best as we move along. With that, I don't know, I'll urge you guys, we have this trend of taking at least a group picture. If you can turn on video, that would be amazing. This is our selfie mode, guys. it's late in the evening and I'm seeing somebody's next to the beach somewhere, I can already tell. But I'm not saying
This
anything.
background, my dear. That is why I'm telling you this artificial intelligence thing. It is not real and it doesn't look good.